There is pain, and then there is suffering. The first is inevitable. The second is a choice. Pain is the wound. Suffering is picking at it every day, wondering why it won't heal. This is what the Stoics understood with brutal clarity. Life will present you with loss, betrayal, rejection, and illness. But how you respond that, you own completely. You may not control the rain that falls, but you can choose whether you walk through it with clenched fists or with open hands. Suffering begins the moment we believe that the world owes us peace, that others owe us kindness, that life owes us comfort. But life owes us nothing, and the moment you accept that is the moment you become free. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And in that one sentence, he unlocked the gate to emotional liberation. You are not disturbed by events themselves. You are disturbed by your interpretation of those events. A breakup is not suffering. The belief that you were unlovable because of it, that's suffering. Losing your job is not suffering. The conclusion that you are now worthless, that's suffering. Even physical pain, real as it is, becomes magnified by the mental stories we attach to it. This shouldn't be happening to me. This will never end. This is unfair. And so the pain doubles, triples, until it becomes unbearable. But if you can sit with pain without judging it, if you can remove the narrative, you strip suffering of its power. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day, convinced it's your cross to bear. But what if you realized the backpack is full of stones you placed there yourself? That's what many of us do with our suffering. We replay old memories. We hold onto grudges. We expect life to be smooth and get angry when it isn't. The Stoics did the opposite. They expected difficulty. They rehearsed misfortune. They accepted death, not because they were pessimistic, but because they wanted to be ready, unshaken, clear-eyed. They knew that clinging breeds suffering, clinging to comfort, clinging to control, clinging to the way things should be. But things aren't the way they should be. They are the way they are. And peace begins the moment you stop resisting that truth. What if you could walk through pain, fully feeling it, but not becoming it? What if heartbreak could break your heart, but not your spirit? What if losing something didn't mean you lost yourself? The Stoics remind us, you are not your circumstances. You are not your thoughts. You are the master of your response. The mind is a wild horse. It runs toward regret, dread, comparison, and blame. But the wise person learns to hold the reins, not to fight the horse, but to guide it gently. Take a moment and look at your life. Where are you clinging? Where are you creating stories that prolong your pain? Where have you mistaken control for peace? We all do it. We all tell ourselves we'll be happy when things go back to normal, when they apologize, when we're finally understood. But the when never comes, because it was never about the outside. Peace is not something you chase, it's something you allow. Suffering is not something you fix. It's something you drop. You drop it by changing your expectations. You drop it by surrendering control. You drop it by returning to the present. Right now, the present moment is silent. It has no complaints, no stories, only your breath, only your heartbeat. Everything else, every ounce of suffering is layered on top by your own mind. The Stoics call this the discipline of assent, the power to decide which thoughts you allow to shape your reality. You can feel pain without letting it become your identity. You can experience grief without becoming bitter. You can lose something and still be whole. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled through plague, war, and betrayal, wrote in his journal, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment of it, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." Read that again. It is in your power. Not someday. Now. You may not be able to fix your problems today, but you can stop believing they define you. You may not get closure, but you can create your own. You may not get the apology, but you can choose not to let their silence become your prison. Suffering often masquerades as loyalty. Loyalty to pain, to people who hurt us, to an image of who we used to be. But what if you chose freedom instead? Freedom from the need to be understood. Freedom from the urge to explain yourself. Freedom from your own stories of not being enough. This doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming clear. It doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means not letting them become your master. It doesn't mean avoiding pain. It means walking through it with dignity. Here's a truth we often forget. Your peace does not depend on anyone else's behavior. Your joy does not need permission. Your worth was never up for debate. No one can take your power unless you hand it to them. The Stoics knew this. That's why they practiced voluntary discomfort, sleeping on the floor, fasting, imagining loss, so when life hit them with real hardship, they were already stronger than the storm. You can be too. But first, you must stop believing that your suffering is sacred. It's not. It's optional. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to feel hurt and still choose grace. You are allowed to rise every time you fall. Not because the world is kind, but because you are. You are allowed to forgive, not for their sake, but to stop suffering twice. You are allowed to release control and, in doing so, reclaim your power. You are allowed to look at your pain, smile gently, and say, "You are here, but you are not me." This is the Stoic key to emotional liberation. It's not about avoiding storms. It's about becoming the calm inside them. It's about meeting life on life's terms and still choosing peace. It's about walking away from the stories that keep you in chains and choosing silence instead. Because sometimes freedom isn't found in fighting your emotions, but in watching them pass like clouds. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Just acceptance. Just stillness. Just peace. If this brought you peace, share it. Someone out there is carrying a weight they don't have to carry anymore. Let them know suffering is optional and freedom is always within.